Well, hello, my fellow financial enthusiasts. We are here for another video, and today we are going to talk about all the things that financial advisors might tell you that maybe you shouldn't be following. Maybe you need to be hearing the other side of things and deciding if it's right for you. This is bad advice from maybe not such great financial advisors or financial advisors who are acting like advisors, but they're really just product specialists. That's a big one. And so, who am I to be discussing this? I am a financial advisor. I call myself kind of a holistic financial advisor, and I help people get to financial independence as quickly as possible. And I've been doing it for 13 years. So, I have heard some bad advice definitely come from people I know in the industry and also from people who've come to me from advisors that they're not so thrilled with. So, these are just things to keep in mind while you're getting advice from a financial advisor or Uncle Joe, whoever's giving you financial advice. But you want to keep this stuff in mind because this kind of stuff can cost you a lot of money and a lot of time, kind of wasted time, not getting you to your goals. And so, a lot of this video today is about focus, knowing what you want. And sometimes you don't know what you want, and that's okay. But knowing what you want and what you don't want is really important. And so when you have this stuff in the back of your mind, it can actually help you focus on what you don't want. And so maybe you can find the right formula for you on what you do want. Okay, so let's get started. Number one is unnecessary product pushing. Now, everybody probably has had this experience. It's kind of the car salesman experience. I apologize to any car salesmen out there. I'm sure there are some wonderful ones. I have had some wonderful ones, and I've had some really bad ones. And it is about just pushing product so that they make a commission. That's the bottom line, right? And of course, immediately we all go to insurance. It's got to be insurance related. And unfortunately, that comes to mind because a lot of us have had bad experience. You know, you come into somebody's office and you say, I'm really worried about retirement. I don't know if we're on track. And then they sit there and try to sell you an insurance policy. And you're like, how does this help me with what I just asked you about? And that's a very valid question. And it's not just insurance, though. That's a really easy one to detect, but there are product pushers in lots of different areas, alternative investments, golds and, metals and gold and that kind of thing, certain types of stocks, all stocks, you have to have all stocks. If you find that your advisor is kind of a one-trick pony, they're just kind of doing one type of thing, they're not showing you any alternatives, that's the problem. And I mean alternatives, not alternative investments. Alternatives meaning different types of things so you can choose what's the best for you. That's the problem, is that they are very focused on one thing, one insurance company they need to sell, or one thing so that they get their commission, or they, feed into whatever stigma or ego driven thing that they have, that they think that they're the specialist and everybody should have this. That's not right either. And just because there's not a commission attached to it doesn't mean that them pushing their ideology on you is the right thing. And so they can be product pushers too. So be careful of those people. If you don't feel good about buying something or putting something in your portfolio, then don't, and say, I don't feel comfortable. And if they won't let up, then maybe they're not your guy or gal, right? Ignoring risk tolerance and discussion. That's really important. Now, we've all taken that really boring risk tolerance questionnaire. I don't know how much I think I really get from those questionnaires from clients. However, what I do get to have when I do have a discussion with them and I start asking them, like, how would you feel if, what would happen if, I can tell immediately what their risk tolerance is in terms of how they feel about the markets. I can tell if they're skittish about the markets, and I can tell if they're kind of bullish about the markets. And it's not all based on your age. I have a lot of people come to me and say, well, I'm kind of very scared about the markets, but I'm 30. I know I should be more aggressive. Okay, maybe you have a longer time horizon and being more aggressive would be good. But if that's really a problem for you and you really don't want to be very aggressive in the market, let's talk about strategies and solutions that might actually feel more comfortable for you and still get you to your goals. Are there any that exist? I don't know. We need to kind of explore that. That's the conversation you should be having with an advisor, not, everybody gets put in the 60% stock, 40% bond portfolio, or I'm older, so you should be 30% stocks. That's not having a discussion. That's just kind of generalizing where somebody should be and telling them where they're supposed to be. And that's not the way you should have that handled. Number 3 is inadequate retirement planning. If you are not having discussions about retirement planning with your lady or your man that is handling your money, that's a problem. I don't care if you never think you're going to retire. There's going to be a point when you're going to want to because of health reasons, because just lots of passion for something. Wouldn't you like to have the choice to retire or not, even if you think you're never going to retire? That's the discussion that needs to be out there. And those discussions need to be have about how retirement looks. What do you want to have happen in retirement? What are your income streams in retirement? What do taxes look like maybe in retirement? All those things need to be part of the discussion. If you're not discussing retirement at all, or you did a plan like 20 years ago with this guy and you've never redone it, that's a problem too, because they're not focused on your goals. They're not focused on making sure that you hit your retirement goals. And retirement is one of those things that affect all of us. And if that's not being discussed, that's usually a big indicator that these next two things are not going to be discussed either. And that's a problem. So, ignoring tax and liquidity talk. I'm a big proponent of this. You've probably heard me talk about this in other videos. Liquidity is important. Every account has its own investment strategy based on liquidity, based on need, based on goal. And if that talk isn't happening and we're just shoving everything in tax deferred things or things that you can't get to for a long period of time, that's a huge issue. And so essentially, when that happens, you've got to really think about, is this person doing what's best for me, or are they just kind of pushing everybody into stuff that they know about, which is not a good thing. And tax is another discussion that needs to be had. We are not tax providers. I don't do taxes for people. I'm not a tax professional. I will let you know that for sure. However, tax is a big part of financial advice. And if you're not having a discussion of how things are being taxed or tax deferred and how they're going to be taxed later, and doing some forecasting, that's going to be a problem in the long run. And you need to have that in your arsenal as you go through your financial journey. Now, this last one is kind of all encompassing. But be like, yeah, I get it. But not doing holistic planning. Now, holistic planning, I say, are things like, you're buying a new car. I want people to call me when they're buying a new car. I want them to have that discussion with me. I want them to tell me what their strategy is, what they want to put down as a down payment. Are they going to take payment plan? Are they going to lease the car? Are they going to buy it outright? What accounts are we going to take it from? How is this going to look in the big picture? How long of a loan are we going to take? All of this stuff. That is important for your overall financial plan. And if I'm not involved with that conversation, then it makes it really hard to do planning for you. And essentially, that's what a holistic planner does, is involved with financial decisions, whether it profits them or not. I make zero money from having a conversation with a client about this. But overall, the fees that they're paying cover this. And I just don't know how I help with investing or I help with an overall plan if I don't know these little things. These little things make a huge difference. Anybody who tells you that they don't know how to do a financial plan. They don't know how to look at your entire picture and get you to the goal line. Okay. And so these little things matter. If you don't feel comfortable calling your person up and saying, hey, I was thinking about it. Do you think I'm in the wrong kind of bank account? Should I be in something else? It's not giving me a very good interest rate. If that is not a conversation you feel comfortable having with them, we need to move on. They're not giving you the service that you want. And that's because we have a lot of people who are financial advisors in this industry who actually just like doing the market stuff. They like investing. They like the stock market. They like looking at portfolios, and they do a fantastic job at it, a lot of them. However, they are not the right people to give you financial advice, and they are truly not going to be the people who want to be involved in your overall holistic planning or just overall planning in general. So, with all that in mind, now you're distrustful of everybody in this industry, I'm sure, right? Just kidding. There are some great ones of us out there. I am not the only one. There's some really good advisors out there who are here to make sure that you get to your goal. And so, just keep this stuff in the back of your mind. Your gut is a great thing to follow. If you do not feel like you're getting the kind of service that you want, that doesn't mean that the person's a bad person. It just might mean that they're not the right person for you. So just keep this in the back of your mind. And, good luck with your financial journey. I'm sure you're going to do great. Just keep your gut in check and make sure that you're listening to it. So, for next time, we are going to talk about why invest in what you know is a double-edged sword. I often will have this conversation with clients of, invest in companies that you know, but at the same time, it is a double-edged sword. There's pros and cons, and we're going to go through that in the next video. So thank you for joining me in this video. We hope to see you again soon, and keep being enthusiastic about finances because that's really what makes the world go around. All right, have a good one.